In 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 7, it says, "What do you have that you did not receive from the Lord?" What do you have that you did not receive from the Lord? Everything that we have is from the Lord. Every blessing in our lives, all of our success, all of our prosperity, we owe to the Lord God. In James chapter 1, verse 17, it says, "Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above and comes down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no variation or shadow of turning." Every good and perfect gift we have is from the Lord by His grace. We should never give credit to something else for the blessings in our life or for the good things in our life. And we certainly should never take credit for the blessings and the goodness, or think that we ourselves are the reason for our success. It's all the grace of God. It's all His grace. And here, God was blessing Israel with an abundance of crops and a great harvest, and they're giving credit to Baal. Baal, you did this for us. You are the one who provided. You are the one who blessed. And so verse 2, "The threshing floor and the winepress shall not feed them, and the new wine shall fail in her." I love what God does here. The people of Israel, they're giving all the credit and all the honor to a false god instead of giving the honor to Yahweh. And so what does the Lord do? He causes their crops to start failing. And again, it's an agrarian society, right? So suddenly the economy isn't going so hot. He begins to take away the blessings. And with the failure of the crops, they will have no reason to rejoice at harvest time. They're going to lose all their joy. In fact, Isaiah chapter 16, verse 10, if you're taking notes, there it says, "Gladness is taken away, and joy from the plentiful field. In the vineyards there will be no singing, nor will there be shouting." During the time of harvest, whole families would go out to harvest their fields, and they would be singing. They would be singing, worship songs, praises to the Lord, shouting for joy at the great abundant harvest. And God says, "Oh, there's not going to be any singing this year. You're not going to be shouting for joy out in the vineyard this year. No treaders will tread out wine in the presses, because there's not going to be any grapes to tread. I have made their shouting cease." By just taking away the crops. There's nothing to harvest. One of the things that this shows us is that the person who forsakes God and forsakes His commands will lose their joy. They'll lose their joy. He goes on in verse 3, "They shall not dwell in the Lord's land, but Ephraim," remember Ephraim is another name for Israel, "Ephraim shall return to Egypt and shall eat unclean things in Assyria." He says they shall not dwell in the Lord's land. The land belongs to the Lord. And the imagery he's using here is that of Israel as tenant farmers or renters, if you will. If a renter trashes your rental property, you evict them. You kick them out. Israel will get evicted from the Lord's land. Now, in the New Testament, Matthew chapter 21, Jesus told this parable of a landowner who planted a vineyard, and then he leased out his vineyard to tenant farmers. And at the time of the harvest, the landowner sent his servants to collect his share of the crops. But the tenants beat the owner's servants. They killed one. They stoned a third. And so the landlord kept sending his servants to collect his share of the crops. And the tenants just kept, beating these servants that were sent. And finally, the owner sent his son, believing they will respect his son. And the tenants decided to kill the owner's son. And it was a parable describing Israel. And Jesus asked the religious leaders, when the owner returns to his vineyard, what do you think he will do to those farmers? And the religious leaders replied, he will put the wicked men to death and lease the vineyard to others who will give him his share of the crop after each harvest. The owner will get rid of the wicked tenants and get new tenants. That's what you do. And here, Israel was giving the Lord's share of the crop to another god, to Baal. And so the Lord says, they're not going to stay on my land, and he's going to remove them from the land. He says of Ephraim or Israel, they will return to Egypt, meaning they're going to go back into bondage, back into slavery, not in Egypt, but in Assyria. He's speaking metaphorically here. When a person forsakes the Lord and the Lord's way, they return back to their old sins, don't they? Quite often they go back to what they were doing before. That's what backsliding is. You go back. And quite often, I know people that they walk with the Lord for a period of time, and then they forsake the Lord, they forsake His ways, and they go back to their old life. They go back to the things that used to hold them, things that used to enslave them in the past. He says, and they shall eat unclean things in Assyria. They will be carried off to Assyria as slaves, where everything will be unclean. Everything will be unclean.